Hello everyone, we are starting a new series for NEET. This is the first chapter, that is the living world, and it will help you out in the regular studies of 11th biology as well as the NEET preparation of yours. This is the first part of this chapter and we will cover the important points, and after the completion we will discuss for the MCQs as well. So life is a unique, complex organization of molecules expressing through chemical reactions which lead to growth, development, responsiveness, adaptation, and reproduction. We need to understand one thing, that it is all about the biochemical reactions which are taking place in our body. Every time something is being synthesized and something is degraded, this is all about the metabolism, and that is there for the maintenance of the living state of the living being. So every time in our body the biochemical reactions, they are taking place with the help of biomolecules, and this is called as metabolism, which is the characteristic feature of the living being. So this is the reason it is written as that life is a biochemical process. It is the chemical reactions which are taking place in the living system. So next is growth, right? So first we have learned for the biochemical reactions which are taking place inside the living being with the help of biomolecules, that is the characteristic feature of the living beings. It is not present in the non-living beings. Second, we are coming to the growth. In living beings, growth occurs, right? And it is the increase in mass and number of cells. When we talk about the growth, it is the division of cells which increases in the number of cells, and that is called as mitosis, right? So in the the living beings, growth occurs with the increase in cell number and also the cell mass, right? However, the growth is different in plants and animals. And how it is different? In plants, growth, it is continuous, right? It is throughout the lifespan. However, in plants, growth is restricted to certain regions. That you also need to understand. It is restricted to certain regions. And why it is restricted to certain regions? Because meristematic cells, they are present in certain regions only. In the plant's meristematic tissue, it is present as apical, lateral, and intercalary, right? So as in plants, the tissue which is responsible for growth, it is present in certain regions only. This is the reason the growth in plants, it is restricted to certain regions. However, it is throughout the life. While in animals, growth is uniform. It is not restricted to certain regions, but it is up to a certain age of life. So growth is the characteristic feature of the living beings, but in plants and animals, growth is different. And how is it different? That we have discussed. Non-living objects, they don't grow from inside. They grow from outside accumulation of the material. So this is how we can distinguish the living beings and non-living beings, that living beings grow from inside and non-living things, they don't grow. And if they increase in their size and shape, that is because of the accumulation of the substances outside. Now we are coming to the another feature, that is living beings have a definite shape and size, right? And living beings, they are called as morphous with definite shape, and non-living objects, they are amorphous with no definite shape. Now we are coming to the reproduction. It's a very important characteristic of the living beings. You know, reproduction is an important phenomena which is responsible for the continuous life on earth. It is there for the maintenance of germ plasm. It is because of the reproduction, the species, they exist on earth, because death is an eternal phenomena. Now reproduction, it is of two types, that is asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. What we are discussing here, it is key reproduction, it is the important characteristic of living beings. They are able to produce one of their own kinds, right? In unicellular organisms, growth and reproduction are the same, because once they grow, they attain a certain limit, they divide, and that is all about the reproduction. So in the unicellular organisms like amoeba, growth and reproduction are same, where they produce the organisms likewise. And here, you know, though reproduction is the characteristic feature, but it is not considered as the defining characteristic, because in the living beings, certain types, they are not able to reproduce, like mules, worker bees, infertile human couples. They are the living beings. They are having all the life processes, but they are able to reproduce. So though the reproduction is the important characteristic of the living beings, but it cannot be taken as the defining characteristic. And what the reason behind? Because certain living beings, and you can give the examples of like mules, worker bees, and infertile human couples, they are having every sign of life, but they are not able to reproduce. And this is the reason we cannot take as the defining property. Reproduction cannot be taken as the defining property. I am coming to a very important feature of the living beings, that is metabolism. And in the very beginning of our session, I have discussed this, metabolism. Metabolism, it is the biochemical reactions, they are taking place inside the living beings, which are responsible for the maintenance of the living state of the living beings, right? So it is a sum total of all the biochemical reactions inside the living system, and it is possible to have the metabolic reactions in the laboratory in vitro condition, but they will be considered as the living reactions only, right? They are not living things because they are we will process them in the laboratory conditions, but they will be considered as the living reactions. So metabolism, it is of three types: anabolism, catabolism, and amphibolism. Anabolism is constructive, catabolism is destructive. Constructive means something is being synthesized, catabolism, something is being degraded, and amphibolism, it is having the both construction and the degradation. So metabolism, it is a very important, characteristic of the living beings. It is not present in the non-living beings, and it will be a characteristic feature. Now we are coming to a brief description for the difference between the anabolism and catabolism. It is the sum total of constructive processes, and catabolism, it is the sum total of destructive processes. Complex substances in anabolism, they are formed from the simple ones, and the simple substances in the catabolism, they are formed from the complex one. So anabolism, it is the synthesis, catabolism is the degradation, breakdown, right? And in anabolism, energy is stored In catabolism, energy is released. Anabolism is required for growth and maintenance. Catabolism is required for performance of activities. So we need to understand one thing is that catabolism and anabolism, they together constitute the metabolism. Sometimes something is required to be synthesized and sometimes something is required to be degraded, right? Likewise, the living reactions, they are taking place inside the living systems and they are categorized as anabolism and catabolism. So metabolism, it is a very important characteristics of the living beings where the biochemical reactions taking place for the maintenance of the living state of the living being. Now we are coming to the cellular organization. So as of now, we have started this, chapter with the term that is growth, then reproduction, and then metabolism. What these are? These are the characteristics of the living beings. They are not present in the non-living beings. Likewise, we are continuing for the cellular organization. Cell is the unit of life. We are made up of cells, like that of a building is made up of brick. So cell is the unit which is having the cellular organelles for the maintenance of the life in itself. Cell organelles inside the cell, they perform the same function as that of organs inside us, right? So they are made up of cells. What they are means living beings. Living beings, they are made up of cells which are having numerous organelles for carrying out the functions. As the organisms, they are made up of cells. Based on the number of cells, the organisms, they can be categorized as unicellular, multicellular and acellular. Now, unicellular organisms you can name as amoeba, you can name as paramecium. In multicellular organisms, you can give as many as examples. You can give the example of virus in acellular. Acellular means without cellular structure. So when we talk about the cell and the type of organisms who are having the cells, we cannot avoid the discussion of the viruses, because viruses, they are the connecting link between the living beings and non-living beings. So, cells, they are the unit, and the number of cells, it is the basis for the categorization of the organisms like unicellular, multicellular. You can give the example of human, dog, cat in multicellular. You can also give the lower organisms as hydra, sponge. Now, living system, they are made up of the cells which are made up of the cell organelles, and cell organelles, they are the constitution of the molecules. So this is how the hierarchy you can write for. Biomolecules constitute the organelles which together constitute a cell. Cell together form the tissue. Then you can write for organ, and then you can write for organ system, which are present in the organisms. This is the hierarchy of the living systems. And again, the cellular organization is the characteristic property of the living beings. This is a flowchart sort of, which is clearly indicating the organisms, they are made up of the cells, which are again made up of the chemicals, atoms, compounds, right? So in biology, we start from the cells. Cells constitute to form tissues, tissue form organs, organ form organ system, and organ system form the organisms. Gradually, when we move from cells to organisms, the complexity, it is increased, and so as to the division of labor. A very known term in biology, that is division of labor. You can have the question ki the work, all the life processes, they are present in the single cell also, that is amoeba. So what the need of tissue? So you can easily give the answer as the tissue give the division of labor to enhance the performance of the work, to enhance the efficiency of the work. Likewise, in the organisms, when different organ systems they are present, they work in a coordinated manner to do the function efficiently. So this is what the division of labor to enhance the efficiency of the work. So cellular organization is the characteristic feature of the living organisms, and the next characteristic, that is consciousness. Consciousness is something which is awareness. See, in the living beings, life processes are there. For the life processes maintenance, metabolism is there, right? And also you can write for the different life processes as, nutrition, then excretion, then circulation, respiration, right? So life processes, they occur in the living beings for the maintenance of the living state. But as a living being, we are not able to survive if we are not able to respond towards the changes in the environment, which are considered as stimuli. We have to respond towards the changes in the environment. This is again required for our survival, and for that purpose, we are provided with the nervous system for the control and coordination, and this is all about the consciousness. So it is the ability of organisms to sense environment and respond to the environmental stimuli like light, water, temperature, other organism, chemicals, pollutants. We have to have the awareness for the changes in the surroundings to get adapted in the keep on changing environment. So this is how all the living beings, they are having the consciousness, and among the living beings, human beings, they are having the self-consciousness. So consciousness, again, what it is? It is the responses for the keep on changing environment. And that is again a characteristic property of the living beings. So this is the first part of this chapter where we have discussed the characteristic properties of the living beings which are not present in the non-living beings, and that is the criteria for the distinction between the living beings and non-living beings. In a nutshell, if we can write as living beings show growth, they show reproduction, they show metabolism, right? They show cellular organization, they show life processes, and also they have consciousness. All these terms which we have discussed, they are not shown by the non-living beings. So the remaining topics of this chapter we will be discussing in the next video. Till then, have a great day.